company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, Belize's top cop is targeted by criminals as his home in Belmopan is sprayed with bullets. One suspect is detained. Out of 20 distributors, only 5 are confirmed as selling sugar into the local market. Recommendations are now being made to bring the FIU and Income Tax Department into the investigation. A pause in the 2023-2024 crop season, we'll tell you why, and a number of guns and ammunition confiscated during operations in the West. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, June 26, 2024.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The peace and quiet of Belmopan City was stolen last night as the house of Belize's top cop came under gunfire, bringing to new heights the level of gun violence unleashed recently. The lone gunman is believed to have shot at the house from a distance. While Commissioner of Police Chester Williams was not present when his home was targeted, his 21-year-old son was at the time. The incident occurred at around 9:30 p.m. while Williams was on flight from Houston to New York. Via text message, the compo was informed by his son that while he was at home, a gunman aimed at the house and opened fire. The suspect, whose name is yet to be released, is a 21-year-old from Kamalote village in the Coyote district who was identified after the surveillance videos were reviewed by investigators. Today, via Zoom, Williams spoke to reporters about the incident and confirmed that the gun believed to have been used is now in police custody together with a motorcycle.
And just about an hour before landing in New York, I got a call from my son who was at home. And he texted me quickly and said that shots were being fired at the house. I right away forwarded the message to the Belmopan police station and asked them to have the police respond immediately. And I directed my son not to come out, to stay inside the house, secured until the police would arrive there. I must say that the police got there very quickly and they dealt with the situation. They examined the house and reviewed the surveillance camera system that they have at home. And they were able to obtain some very useful information from the camera system. Subsequent to that, the police mobilized more and conducted interviews and operations, and quickly they were able to apprehend a suspect along with the firearm, which we believe to have been used in the incident. The firearm is a 45 caliber pistol that has been packaged and will be sent to the National Forensic Service Ballistic Section for examination to be compared with the shells that were found at the scene. The person went by on motorcycle and he passed in front of the house and he stopped a distant away and fired the shots from there. So again, it goes to show that he's a coward. I am sure that this individual knew I was not at home, because they might have heard on the news that I was leaving the country yesterday following the operations in the SOE. And so they took the opportunity, believing that knowing that I was not at home, to have done this. Yes, we know that there may be other persons who are a part of this. And we are also probing to be able to identify who those other persons may be.
The person presently detained is no stranger to police, and Williams also confirmed that his mother is employed at the police academy.
No, he don't have a parent who's a police officer. That's not true. His mother happened to be a cook at the training academy. So she and I have never had any encounter per se. I don't even really know who she is. But that's as far as I know about him. I know that he has been in trouble with the law before, charged with different offenses. And we are looking at him very closely to see who are his close associates. We have a person of interest that we're looking at likewise, who we know is a very close associate of him, and may be the person who had motivated him to go and carry out the sack.
No, sir.
Is this suspect one of the persons who were identified as one of the alleged gang members to be picked up under the SOE?
No, because he reside in Kamalote, and the SOE do not cover Kamalote village. It covers Ruin Creek.
And while last night's shooting has left Belmopan residents shaken and fearing for their security, the composer says he is not intimidated.
Well, I guess someone just wants to send a statement if they think that I am going to be perturbed or intimidated by their action, then they have the wrong man. Certainly, as the Commissioner of Police, I have a mandate. And my mandate to the Belizean people is clear, which is to do all I can within my power to make sure that our people are safe. So they can come and shoot 1,000,000 times. That will not distract me from doing what I need to do. But what I can say to them is that they will be pursued no matter where they go. They will be caught and they will be dealt with. It is something that I take very seriously, and we will act decisively in making sure that the perpetrators of this and other incidents are brought to justice.
The Commissioner of Police says he has been able to put measures in place for the safety of his son until he returns to Belize on Sunday. Of note is that today the Belmopan City Council sent out a press release condemning the attack against the home of the Commissioner. The release says, quote, "This violent act is a grave offense against our community's safety and well-being." The release asks residents in Belmopan to remain vigilant and to report suspicious activities to the authorities. Last night, we told you that following a spate of gun violence, certain areas of Belize City are under a month-long state of emergency, as is the villages of Cotton Tree and Roaring Creek in the west. The department is looking for a number of gang members at this hour and have promised to restore citizen security. Today, the Commissioner of Police gave an update on the SOE.
Continue to be in search of a number of persons who are on the list and have not yet been located. We're doing our best to be able to locate those individuals. The press office will be issuing those wanted posters, hopefully by the end of the day today. We'll be seeking the public assistance in locating them.
Since the start of June, the Supplies Control Unit within the Ministry of Agriculture has been working closely with sugar industry stakeholders to identify the wholesalers and retailers of sugar in the hope of weeding out those persons who have been illegally sending our sugar across the border. Last week, when we spoke to the Controller of Supplies, Lennox Nicholson, he confirmed that the investigation had determined thus far that there are 20 major entities or persons who purchase sugar from the mill regularly. From those 20 wholesalers, only 5 have been verified as selling sugar in the local market. Based on these findings, today the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Mai, says his recommendation is now to involve other parties, including income tax and even the FIU, in the investigation of the remaining names on the list.
My recommendation is very simple, right? Back in the past, there was in the regulation a license to wholesale rice when we had the rice war many years ago, before you were born anyway. But maybe we need to go back to that and grant people a license to wholesale sugar. I'm just suggesting it. Secondly, the income tax department or the tax department have to do their job. You can visit, you have the names, you can visit these establishments to see where they have sold their sugar and if they have paid their taxes. As a matter of fact, maybe FIU should get involved. But it must be clear that these people who do not seem to be selling sugar on the market are selling it somewhere else, right? And so, cabinet is informed of all the people. They know who the people are. The media know who they are. But maybe the media should do their work too, and go visit these people and say, listen, where you sell your sugar, right? And so I think that we are there. Yesterday, cabinet discussed the proposed price increase of sugar, but a long discussion. It's always a long discussion. It's never easy, a discussion when you want to raise the price of any commodity in Belize. Cabinet doesn't make a decision overnight. You have to present justifiable information for that to happen. We have a social conscience, right? And so we don't jump into raising the price immediately. We have to study it well. The supplies control director made his presentation. He showed the different structures we have for the wholesaler, for the industrial user, regionally, what the price is supposed to be in Belize as opposed to Rinjoak, as opposed to San Pedro, as opposed to Deep South. So all these have to be factored in before we make a sound and we believe the best decision in the price of sugar. It's not a decision we make overnight, as we well thought out.
Minister Mai also confirmed that Cabinet is also currently in discussions about the proposed increase in the price of sugar, which remains on the table at this time. The 2023-2024 sugarcane crop season has been on a pause for the past 9 days due to inclement weather, which affected our country earlier this month. Milling was paused on Tuesday, June 18th, and is expected to restart on Thursday at 10 a.m. This most recent interruption, according to Chairman of the Sugar Industry Control Board, Marcos Osorio, was done abruptly by the mill and was extended beyond the expected period of time. With even more rains expected in the coming days, Osorio says the hope is that the crop season can continue in order to allow the delivery of harvested cane.
So we are hoping that we can have a good restart on Thursday with deliveries. But unfortunately, I think most stakeholders, farmers are following also the weather, given that we are already on hurricane season. And there is a forecast of two possible systems to come close or pass near or close to Belize. And that may bring rains over the weekend and into next week. So we are hoping for the best possible so that the harvesting can continue. Imagine we are restarting deliveries on Thursday, and if we get much rains by Friday or Saturday, it simply will have a huge impact. And more than that, in that canes will already be burned because farmers had burned yesterday so that they prepare to this for the starting deliveries tomorrow. So that's the present situation. I think um, I want to believe that the mill is not telling us or being honest. Yes, we had a weather issue, but also we have to recall that almost for the entire 2 weeks of June, the mill had been experiencing milling problems, where milling had been averaging around 120 tons per hour. And also we saw in the last days of deliveries before the suspension of milling that the quality situation had deteriorated significantly because we were looking at purities of 74, 73% when the minimum acceptable as agreed is 81%. So canes were pretty much far below the minimum standard in terms of purity.
Before the pause, Osorio says slow milling rate coupled with inferior cane quality were presenting a below average production when compared to last year.
I can report that up to when the milling was suspended, the amount of cane that had been delivered to the mill stood at 980,000 tons, with a tons cane to ton sugar or TCTS of average 9.76, of which in terms of sugar production, the production for white sugar, which is for the local market, stands at 12,315 metric tons. Brown sugar at 35,161 metric tons, and raw sugar at 52,874 metric tons, for a total of 100,350 tons of sugar produced so far in the crop, with 980,000 tons of sugarcane. The milling rate stands at an average of 257 tons per hour, or 6,183 metric tons per day. I want to mention here, Norma, that I think in the past we had always heard that the mill capacity is a 7,000 ton milling capacity per day. That has reduced drastically to a milling capacity of around 6,000 tons per day. We just completed at the 180 days of crop, and the average milling rate stands at 6,183, where a total of 980,000 tons have been milled. And even if the crop goes all the way to 200 crop days or more, we would barely be doing like 1,050,000 tons of cane.
The break in milling this far into the crop season, according to Osorio, will undoubtedly yield serious repercussions for the overall success of the crop.
Given that we already have rains and we have been experiencing milling rate drops, and we have seen deliveries in the last days up to before the suspension of purities below the minimum acceptable. And for whatever else can be delivered, we can only foresee that it will have further impact in overall quality. And yes, because if we recall, or as we all know, farmers are paid based on their relative quality of the cane that they're delivering. So the deliveries happen as groups, by test groups, and each test group have its own relative quality, which depends pretty much on how each harvest group that comprises the test group, how they manage their burning, their cutting, their loading, and for them to end with the best quality possible. So yes, in any way, when it comes to weather and so on, it will always have a negative impact in the overall quality of the end product, which at the end of the day impacts everybody, impacts the mill, impacts the farmers, and that as a result of that, then payment, if it could have been better, if we could have finished with during the dry period. So, but at the end of the day, I think if we can produce another 10,000 or or so tons of sugar, it will generate a little more income for the industry. So that's the reason why the decision to restart, and I hope that God spare us from those storms and don't bring us much rain so that we can continue into the next month with harvest season, and that we can go all the way at least to mid-July.
With a gloomy outlook for what remains of the crop season, which has extended into the rainy season, Osorio says it is up to individual farmers to do their part to deliver the best quality cane to the mill.
My call to farmers and group leaders is, let's give it the best possible in terms of harvesting practices so that we can get canes that are taking less mud, are clean, so that we can so that it makes sense then to continue for a few more days. Because if we will be taking canes in the worst conditions, then maybe the best decision would have been to suspend to end the crop. But also bearing in mind that there's still quite an amount of cane out there. The estimate is that there's still around 150,000 tons of sugar cane out in the fields of good cane. But if we can achieve at least 100,000 tons more of delivery, that would be great for everyone. But given the present situation in terms of weather and so on, it is very challenging and looks a little difficult. But for the few days or the whatever days weather allows us to continue, our call on everyone is to try and do our best at the field level to get those canes in the best condition possible to the mill.
As previously mentioned, the gates of the BSI factory will be open at 10 a.m. on Thursday. Coming up next, an agreement is signed for a climate resilient and sustainable agriculture project. Farmers of the North stand to benefit. Stay tuned.
The Orange Walk Clinical Lab Summer Promotion 2024 is here. Get your summer promotion on glucose, cholesterol, triglyceride and hemoglobin for only $20. Also fantastic promotions on prostate PSA for only $50. We also have other packages on promotion. We also provide DNA paternity testing. We take this opportunity to inform the general public in the Orange Walk District that we are an approved NHI lab service provider. So for all your NHI lab tests, just visit your NHI medical provider and visit us at the Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory. We take care of all your NHI lab tests. Results are provided the same day. Come visit us on number 20 San Antonio Road, Orange Walk Town. Call for details at 322-0423 or 600-2727. Call 630-1479. Remember, don't wait for symptoms. Check your health today. The Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory.
As he spoke to the media today, Agriculture Minister Honorable Jose Mai also offered an update on the works of the Commission of Inquiry into the Sugar Industry, which began its work earlier in June. The Commission has met with all stakeholders within the northern and western sugar industries and with the government. Not meeting any resistance so far, the Commission is expected to complete its work by November of this year as determined previously.
The Commission finished its first 2 weeks of work as they had scheduled. They met with BSI, they met with the Kenya farmers, they met with Santander, they met with the minister and the team, and they did their due diligence. I think they have left right now. The ones from Mauritius have left. I think there's one in the country yet, one the South African. I think it's Andy Church. Yeah, I think it's Andy Church. He's still in the country doing his share of the work. So it's going on smoothly. We haven't heard any resistance yet. We hope we will not hear of any resistance. But this Commission of Inquiry is critical to the survival and the viability of the sugar industry.
Do you believe that the report will be finished in time for November?
I believe, yeah. I met with the commissioners and I'm very impressed with their knowledge and experience and professionalism. I mean, I've never met, I think, people that have so much knowledge in sugar technology. And the level of professionalism is just amazing. So I have full confidence in the commissioners.
Over the past weeks, police have made their presence known in San Ignacio, Santa Elena, following a surge in crime, which lately led to a state of emergency for Roaring Creek and Cotton Tree after the Roaring Creek police station was perforated bullets. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams confirmed that since the operations commenced, police have seized a number of guns and ammunition.
We do know that a number of illegal and prohibited weapons are smuggled into the country via the porous western border area. And certainly, yes, that has created, to some degree, the proliferation of these guns across Belize, and in particular, the Cayo district and Belize district. So the police have conducted numerous operations, as I reported to you yesterday in my interview, that from the operations that we have done in the San Ignacio Santa Elena area over the past 2 weeks, we have removed 5 firearms and several ammunitions off the streets in the San Ignacio Santa Elena area. So it goes to show that the police have been very active in making sure that we remove these guns off the streets. But again, you would know that the border area is very porous. And as much as we are removing, some are coming in. And we just have to continue to work to see how best we can intercept these persons with their weapons whenever they are moving along with them.
Agriculture stakeholders gathered today in Belmopan to witness the signing of an agreement between the Development Finance Corporation, DFC, and La Inmaculada Credit Union, LICU, for the implementation of the Climate Resilience and Sustainable Agriculture Project funded by the government of Belize through a loan agreement with the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, IBRD. The Climate Resilient and Sustainable Agriculture Project is aimed at bolstering the resilience of Belizean agriculture and includes a matching grant facility, MGF, with an initial allocation of $16 million. This fund is dedicated to promoting the adaptation of climate-smart agriculture, CSA technologies, approaches, and practices among climate-vulnerable farmers in Belize. The project will be co-financed by the Blue Creek Credit Union, LICU, the DFC, and the beneficiaries themselves. This project is being targeted towards farmers in the Corozal, Orange Walk, Belize, and Cayo districts. This project, according to Agriculture Minister, seeks to benefit women and youths in particular in an effort to ensure their sustainability in an atmosphere of constant climate change.
We have to have a percentage of women in projects as beneficiaries. It caters for small farmers and big farmers. That was how the project was conceived from the very first stage.
Do you find that, given that a lot of farmers tend to, favor traditional techniques as opposed to implementing climate-smart techniques, do you think that this is a program that would want them to explore this avenue?
Let me tell you, I think that, like I said earlier in my presentation, necessity is a need for innovation and invention. So farmers, more than anybody, understand the importance of new technologies if you are going to survive as a farmer. We have seen that climate change is real, it is having effects. And the farmers know that very well. So they are looking for the opportunity to change a technique, change a technology. With proper financing and proper education, they will change. I believe that they will.
It divided into two parts, 10 million US dollars for small producers and 6 million US dollars for medium to larger producers. The Ministry of Agriculture is currently engaged with stakeholders in a 3-day national forum on Fusarium TR4, which is one of the most destructive soil-borne fungal pathogens affecting bananas globally. The forum, which runs from June 26 to the 28, 2024, brings together leading experts, researchers, growers, and technical personnel from around the world to discuss the latest advancements, challenges, and opportunities in the banana industry. This event is being held in conjunction with the International Regional Organization for Health in Agriculture, OIRSA, the International Cooperation and Development Fund, ICDF Taiwan, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, BAHA, and the Banana Growers Association. The forum, according to Minister of Agriculture Honorable Jose Mai, is pivotal for Belize to learn from leading experts in the banana industry in preventing and controlling the disease in case it appears in the region.
Fusarium TR4 is a new race, a relatively new race of the Fusarium oxysporum fungus. Fusarium oxysporum is a disease, a pathogen that causes disease in bananas. Many years ago, it wiped out the banana industries. And as years passed, they developed a variety that was resistant to the disease, which we have now, the Cavendish type bananas. It so happens that the race 4 virus now, a race 4 fungus now, a new strain was found, and it was found now in Colombia. And it was wiping out Colombia. Then it was found in Venezuela, now it is in Peru. It is only a matter of time before the disease gets to Belize. So we have to do two things. One, prevent it from coming to Belize. But when it comes to Belize, we have to be prepared. How do we prepare? There's no known cure for it. The best cure is prevention, and the second best cure is resistant varieties. The Taiwanese ROC mission, Taiwan, they have a variety which they made available to us, which they claim have a certain level of resistance to it. So through OIRSA, the Republic of China, Taiwan, partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture and OIRSA, and we have now a demonstration in Belize, several demonstrations, to evaluate the performance of this banana variety under our conditions, because the banana in Taiwan is different from banana in Belize. But this morning we had that event. There are a number of countries participating in today's exercise. These are the most brilliant minds in research in banana, Fusarium, so to speak. So they are here today. They are going to do some simulations, and in the event that the disease gets here, how to deal with it. But like I said, the most brilliant minds in research in Fusarium are in Belize today.
Present at the opening today were Her Excellency Lili Wensu, Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Abelardo Mai, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Alex Bolona, President of the University of Belize, Dr. Vincent Palacio, representatives of the Banana Growers Association of Belize, Managing Director of BAHA, Zoe Zetina, OIRSA Country Representative Fermin Blanco, as well as a number of international experts. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
The United Nations is holding its Chief of Police Summit in New York. The event is the fourth of its kind, and the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, is representing Belize. Ministers, chiefs of police, and senior representatives of regional and professional policing organizations are meeting at the United Nations headquarters from June 26th to the 27th to engage on discussions surrounding the strengthening of international peace, security, and development for all through the unifying power and enabling role of national and United Nations policing.
I am at the UN in New York, attending the United Nations Chief of Police Conference. And the conference is focused on different types of crime, looking at environmental crime. We also will be looking at interviewing and interrogation of suspects. We'll be looking at gender within law enforcement. We'll be looking at peacekeeping missions. And we'll be also looking at gang violence, firearm issues. And then we do have some bilateral meetings with different countries where I will see how we can solicit support in the form of training to be able to train our officers back home.
The UN hopes that at the end of the two-day event, officers can return home with a greater understanding of how the skills, knowledge, and experience obtained at the conference can benefit their own policing services and populations. Today, the Statistical Institute of Belize hosted its quarterly press conference where they highlight the economic outlook of the country for a particular given period of time. Today, we will hear from the SIB about Consumer Price Index for the first 5 months of 2024. For this period, Belizeans saw a Consumer Price Index of 3.9% when compared to the same period last year. All major categories saw an increase during this period except for transport, which experienced a slight decrease of 1.8%.
The cumulative inflation rate for the first 5 months of the year of 2024, when compared to the same period of the year of 2023, stood at 3.9%. This means that overall, the average cost of goods that are regularly purchased by household increased by 3.9%. All right, so before we look at the major categories affecting the cumulative inflation rate of 3.9%, let's first look at the National Consumer Price Index, which summarizes all categories of goods and services for the past 5 years, with our main emphasis being the first 5 months of the year of 2024 and the year of 2023. We can see how prices overall increased from January to May, as changes were seen in food items, home rental costs, butane, restaurant services, and fuel prices.
Across all municipalities, Belmopan experienced the highest rate of inflation of 9.6%, while San Pedro Town saw the lowest inflation rate of 1.9%.
it can clearly be seen that the city of Belmopan experienced the highest increase in consumer prices, with a cumulative inflation rate of 9.6%. Consumers in the city saw an above average increase in prices for food items, home rental costs, restaurant services, personal hygiene products, men's and women's hairdressing, laundry products, soaps, detergent, pet food, nightclub entrance fees, medicine over-the-counter, clothing, and footwear. On the other hand, San Pedro Town experienced the lowest cumulative inflation rate with a 1.9%, as consumers in this town saw lower than average increase in prices for food items, beers, cigarette, restaurant services, pet food, video games, medicine products, laundry products, soaps, and detergent.
Across all municipalities, Belmopan experienced the highest rate of inflation of 9.6%, while San Pedro Town saw the lowest inflation rate of 1.9%. It is possible that over time while traveling on the road, you have seen a police officer or two trying to hitch a ride home after completing their shift. This happens especially late at night since there is no bus transportation. This poses a security threat for officers, and with that in mind, the department is looking at renting a bus to take cops home.
We have sought to see how best we could assist the police officers who commute. And let me say that when an officer commutes, it's a choice that the officer would make to commute. Because we try as best as we can to give the officers a housing allowance. Yes, it does not cover your entire house rent, but it can cover a portion of your house rent so that you can rent where you work. But some officers choose to stay where they're from and commute. That's a choice of them that they will decide to take. But what we have tried to do is to obtain the services of a bus company for those in the west, for those in the north, to transport the officers to work, those who come on at work at midnight, and to take the ones up who come off at midnight. The bus company agrees to do it at a lower rate than the regular bus. And that is what the officers in the north has been using. In terms of the officers from the west, we do have a police bus that we use to transport them to and from the west. And that is at no cost. But we have just obtained one new bus and we are awaiting another. One of those buses will be for the north, one is going to be for the west, and the officers will be allowed to pay a fee. So even though it's the police bus, they will pay a fee to cover the fuel, because the fuel costs for these buses are very, very expensive. And so at the very least, since they're getting a housing allowance and choose to live where they're from, as opposed to where they work, we're accommodating them with this bus run, but they have to pay for the fuel, which I believe is quite reasonable. I had put that to the police association and they had taken it out to their members, and they are all in agreement that they are happy for what we're doing, and they'll be paying what needs to be paid by them to cover the fuel costs.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, June 27th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.